What is up, DIY friends and fam? In this episode of Doable DIY, we're going to learn about cleaning your refrigerator in a way you may have never considered. I'll admit that I never considered it either until one day when my refrigerator was just not keeping the food very cold at all. As a matter of fact, it was getting warm inside, and it was running constantly. It was only then that I realized that you have to clean underneath your refrigerator on a regular basis to keep it running at peak efficiency. The reason for this is that because in the process of keeping your chocolate milk at a delicious 33 degrees, the cooling system of your fridge is generating heat as a byproduct of the cooling process. Have you ever felt the hot air coming out of your outside air conditioning unit when it's running? Well, your refrigerator is basically doing the same thing in running cooler air through it and spitting out hot air as it runs continually. So to get rid of that heat when it's running, your refrigerator is constantly sucking in the air from your kitchen and pulling that cooler air through a series of coils. This is how your fridge gets rid of that heat and can keep producing more cool air. As you can imagine, over the months and even years of doing this process every single day, those coils can get absolutely filthy. Aside from being just plain gross, when the coils get full of dust and dirt, they stop working and can lead to your fridge failing. So let's get right to work on cleaning our coils. To access them, most refrigerators have a panel here on the front that you can simply remove. Now, unfortunately, some refrigerators, you may have to pull it out away from the wall and even remove a panel on the back to get to them. Thankfully, our refrigerator does have the front panel that we can just pop off. So let's take that off and get to work. On this model of Whirlpool refrigerator that I'm going to work on today, this can be done as easily as just popping it off with the screwdriver. There's no actual screws, there's just clips that hold it. So let's get to it. Now that the access panel is off, let's go in for a closer look and see how we're doing. Good grief, that's not good, is it? Look at all that dust and dirt. This refrigerator is working harder than it has to because those coils are just a mess. I can feel the breeze coming out over here on the left, and then through here is where it's sucking the air in. So what we're going to need to do is clean those off, and we'll show you how to do that next. So to get into those coils and get them clean, I'm going to use three things that hopefully you have laying around the house, and maybe you don't need any special tools at all. That's the idea. I'm going to use my crevice tool from my shop vac or my handheld vacuum that's got a skinny little nozzle that is just thin enough to get in between those coils and clean between them. I'm also going to use an old paintbrush that I have lying around. I can scrub them up and brush them and get some of the dirt loose to be sucked out by the vacuum. And then if you wanted, you can go down to Home Depot. They even make a long, skinny special brush called a coil brush because you're going to clean the coils that you can pay about 10 bucks for. Who's got that kind of money laying around? So what I decided to do was take an old toothbrush and tape it onto a piece of wood that I had laying around the garage. It's nice and thin, and it'll get between the coils and do pretty much the same thing without any investment. Also, because I'm not going to pull the fridge out and turn it off, I've done this before. I know I'm not going to get electrocuted, but these are all non-metallic objects that are not going to interfere with any electronics that I could potentially touch under there. You want to be very careful not to do that, just stay in the coils. But there's nothing here that will conduct electricity, and I'm going to very carefully, just very gently between the coils, rub the dust out and then vacuum it out. Okay, so we've got our tools all ready. Let's get started. So that's as far as I'm going to go.
It looks clean. It's all the coils are uncovered and can now do their job as they're designed. I know to some of my OCD friends out there this may look wholly inadequate, but trust me, it's fine. It'll cool just as well. And if you do this regularly, like at least once a year, it won't be an issue. So the idea is just to keep in here once a year and get in here and clean this out. As long as you can see all the coils, they will work properly.
So that's a wrap on today's project. Just a side note, I chose not to unplug my refrigerator because I'm well familiar with it, and I've done this process several times before over the years. And I know I can safely probe in there and vacuum it out without touching anything critical. And just a reminder, if you need to pull your refrigerator out to get to the back of it and do any work back there and suck it out that way, unplug it and be safe and don't touch anything electrical. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. You can do it. Cheers.